Deep within the heart of the enchanted meadow, where wildflowers painted the ground in hues of blue and gold, and the whispering willows swayed in rhythm with the breeze, a quiet anticipation stirred. The meadow was no ordinary place. By day, it dazzled with sparkling streams that hummed soft tunes, and by night it transformed into a glowing haven under the watchful gaze of a silver moon. Tonight, however, the meadow would play host to its most cherished tradition, the Moonlight Music Festival. The festival was an annual gathering where animals from every corner of the forest came to celebrate their shared love of music. From the gentle trill of the crickets to the deep baritone of the bullfrogs, the meadow would resonate with melodies as diverse as its inhabitants. Creatures large and small were busy preparing for the event, each one eager to contribute to the symphony of the night. Near the edge of the meadow, under the protective canopy of an ancient oak, lived a shy little nightingale named Lila. Her feathers shimmered faintly under the sunlight, but it was her voice, a gift as pure and beautiful as the first light of dawn, that set her apart. Yet, few had ever heard Lila sing. She preferred the solitude of her tree, where she would hum to herself, weaving soft melodies that only the wind and leaves could hear. Lila peered out from her nest, her heart fluttering as she watched the animals bustling about. There was Tilly the hedgehog, carefully plucking strings on her tiny harp, her quills vibrating in harmony. Across the stream, Benjamin the beaver worked tirelessly on a grand wooden stage, his tail thumping a steady rhythm as he polished the planks. Overhead, a line of fireflies practiced their synchronized glow patterns, preparing to light up the night sky in dazzling displays. "Are you coming to the festival tonight, Lila?" a cheerful voice called from below. It was Pip, a sprightly squirrel who seemed to appear out of nowhere. He balanced a miniature drum on his shoulder and grinned up at her. "You should come! It's going to be the best festival yet. Everyone's saying so." Lila hesitated, her wings twitching nervously. "I'm not sure, Pip. I don't think I'd be much help." "Not much help?" Pip's bushy tail puffed out in mock indignation. "Lila, you've got the most amazing voice in the entire forest. You'd be the star of the show if you sang." Lila blushed, her feathers ruffling. "Oh, I don't know about that. Besides, what if I make a mistake? What if no one likes my singing?" Pip tapped his tiny drum with a stick, producing a jaunty beat. "You'll never know unless you try. And you don't have to be perfect, Lila. The festival's about everyone coming together, mistakes and all." Lila's eyes darted to the stage where a family of rabbits was arranging baskets of wildflowers for decoration. She envied their confidence, their ease with being part of something so big. For as long as she could remember, the idea of performing in front of others had filled her with a mix of excitement and fear. Across the meadow, a deep rumble of laughter drew her attention. At the center of the clearing stood Mr. Otis, the wise old owl who served as the festival's host. With his wings spread wide and a warm glow in his eyes, he called out to the gathering crowd, "Friends, tonight we celebrate not just music but the joy of community. Each of you brings something unique to our festival, and together we create harmony." His words resonated in Lila's heart, but she couldn't shake her doubts. Could she truly be part of something so grand? As the sun dipped lower, casting golden streaks across the horizon, the preparations reached a crescendo. A gentle hum filled the air, growing louder with every passing moment. The fireflies began to twinkle, and the first stars made their appearance, adding a touch of magic to the scene. Lila took a deep breath and stepped back into the safety of her nest. She couldn't decide whether to join the festival or stay hidden, as she always had. But deep within her, a small spark of hope flickered, daring her to imagine what might happen if she found the courage to share her voice. As the moon climbed higher into the sky, its silvery light spilled across the enchanted meadow, painting the leaves and flowers with an otherworldly glow. The fireflies began their dance, lighting up the pathways to the stage, while animals of all shapes and sizes gathered, their chatter filling the air with excitement. Lila remained in her nest, perched high in the ancient oak. From her vantage point, she could see everything: the beavers adjusting the stage lights, the squirrels testing the drums, and the deer tuning their delicate wind chimes. But instead of feeling inspired, she felt smaller than ever. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of rustling leaves. Pip had returned, his drum replaced by a small bag slung over his shoulder. He grinned up at her as though he had just discovered the greatest treasure in the forest. "Lila!" he called, his voice a mix of excitement and urgency. "You won't believe it! But Mr. Otis just announced a special performance slot. He said it's open to anyone who wants to share their talent. Anyone, Lila!" Lila's heart skipped a beat. "Anyone?" she repeated, her voice trembling. "Yes, anyone," Pip said, scrambling up the tree until he was level with her. He called it the moonlight moment. It's a chance for someone to step up and share something special with the whole meadow, and you're perfect for it. Lila shook her head, her feathers quivering. "Oh no, Pip! I could never do that. What if I freeze? What if I forget the words? What if—" Pip placed a gentle paw on her wing. "What if you don't?" he said softly. "What if you sing, and it's everything the meadow needs to hear tonight?" Lila hesitated, her mind racing with doubts and possibilities. She had always dreamed of singing under the moonlight, but the thought of so many eyes on her was paralyzing. "What if no one likes my voice?" she whispered. Pip's tail flicked, and he gave her a determined look. "Lila, the meadow isn't about judgment, it's about harmony. Everyone here loves music because it brings us together, not because it's perfect. And your voice, it's like magic. Trust me." Before Lila could respond, a loud crack echoed through the meadow. Startled, she and Pip turned their eyes toward the stage. One of the beams holding up the stage lights had splintered, causing a section of the structure to sag precariously. Benjamin the Beaver and his team rushed to fix it, but the incident sent a ripple of concern through the crowd. The murmurs grew louder, and Lila could hear snippets of worried conversation. What if the stage isn't ready in time? Will the festival be cancelled? From the centre of the meadow, Mr. Otis flapped his great wings and called for calm. "Friends, do not fret. We will have this fixed in no time. In the meantime, let us continue to prepare for tonight's festivities." Despite his reassurance, the atmosphere had shifted. The joy and anticipation had given way to a sense of unease. Lila felt it too, a heaviness settling in her chest. It wasn't just about the stage. It was about what the festival meant to everyone. This night was supposed to bring the community together, to remind them of the beauty they shared. If it fell apart, so might their sense of unity. Pip nudged her gently. "See, Lila, this is why we need you. Your voice could lift everyone's spirits. It could remind them why we're all here." Lila looked down at the meadow, her heart pounding. Could she really make a difference? She had spent so much time hiding her gift, afraid of what others might think. But now she saw the animals she loved, the same ones who had built this festival with their own paws, wings, and tails, looking uncertain and anxious. She realized that this wasn't just about her fears. It was about something bigger. Just then, a low melodic hum drifted through the air. It was soft at first, almost imperceptible, but it grew steadily louder. Lila leaned forward, scanning the meadow for the source. To her astonishment, it was coming from a group of crickets near the stream. They had formed a little circle and were chirping in perfect harmony, their song rising like a soothing balm over the crowd. The animals began to quiet, their attention drawn to the crickets' impromptu performance. Slowly but surely, the tension in the air began to ease. Even the beavers worked more confidently, inspired by the simple yet powerful melody. Lila felt a lump in her throat. The crickets weren't the most dazzling performers, but their music had transformed the mood of the meadow. It wasn't about perfection. It was about connection. And in that moment, she understood what Pip had been trying to tell her all along. She turned to Pip, her eyes wide with a mix of determination and fear. "I'll do it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Pip's face lit up like a firefly. "Really? You mean it?" Lila nodded, though her wings were trembling. "I don't know if I'll be any good, but I want to try. I want to help." "That's the spirit," Pip cheered, punching the air. "We'll get you ready, Lila. I'll help you practice and we'll find the perfect spot for you in the lineup." As they began to make their way down the tree, Lila felt a surge of both excitement and terror. She wasn't sure if she was ready, but she knew she couldn't let her fears hold her back any longer. This festival was about more than just music. It was about coming together, about finding harmony even in uncertain times. And maybe, just maybe, she could be a part of that. By the time they reached the meadow floor, the stage was nearly repaired, and the animals were gathering once more, their spirits lifted by the cricket's song. Lila took a deep breath, the cool night air filling her lungs. She wasn't sure what the night would bring, but for the first time, she was ready to step out of the shadows and into the moonlight. As Lila stepped into the enchanted meadow, she was immediately enveloped by the lively buzz of activity. The animals were scurrying about, each adding their final touches to the moonlight music festival. The glow of firefly lanterns lit up the meadow in warm golden hues, while the sweet aroma of blooming night jasmine hung in the air. Though her heart still fluttered with nerves, Lila was determined to see this through. Pip walked beside her, carrying a small satchel filled with sheet music and a tiny bottle of honey water, his special concoction for soothing the throat. "We'll start with some warm-ups," he said enthusiastically. "Nothing too strenuous, just enough to get your voice ready." Lila nodded, her mind racing. She'd agreed to sing, but she had no idea what song to perform or how to overcome the fear tightening her chest. The festival was just hours away and she didn't feel ready. They approached a small clearing near the babbling brook, where a group of robins was rehearsing a lively tune. "This spot is perfect," Pip said, spreading a soft blanket on the grass. "Let's start with some scales." Lila opened her beak but froze. The robins glanced over, chirping politely, before returning to their practice. Their confidence was intimidating. What if she couldn't measure up? Sensing her hesitation, Pip gave her an encouraging smile. "Just for me," he said gently. "Pretend no one else is here." Closing her eyes, Lila took a deep breath. The cool, fragrant air filled her lungs, and she released a soft, hesitant note. It wavered, but as she continued, her voice steadied. Pip clapped his paws together. "That's it, Lila! Keep going!" Her notes floated through the clearing, catching the attention of the robins. They paused, their heads tilting as they listened. When she finished, one of the robins hopped over. "That was lovely," he said. "You have such a unique tone, soft but powerful." Lila blushed, muttering a quiet thank you. The robin gave a cheerful trill. "We're doing a duet later. If you'd like, you could join us for practice." Pip's ears perked up. "That's a great idea. Lila, this could help you feel more comfortable performing." Lila hesitated but nodded. "Okay, I'll try." The robins led her through a cheerful song about the joy of sunrise. At first, Lila's voice was timid, but their harmonies encouraged her, wrapping her notes in a warm embrace. By the end of the practice, she was smiling, her nerves beginning to ease. "That was fun," she admitted, and the robins chirped their agreement. As they returned to the main meadow, the festival preparations were in full swing. A porcupine troupe was arranging colourful flower garlands around the stage, while a family of foxes set up food stalls with steaming pies and frothy berry drinks. The air thrummed with anticipation. "Look over there!" Pip pointed to a group of raccoons balancing on logs in the middle of the stream. They were practicing a synchronized drumming routine, using the hollow logs as percussion instruments. Lila couldn't help but laugh as one raccoon slipped, splashing into the water. The others pulled him up, their laughter ringing through the meadow. "You see," Pip said, "it's not about being perfect, it's about enjoying the moment." The pair continued their exploration, meeting performers from every corner of the forest. They stopped to watch a family of otters rehearsing a graceful water dance, their movements reflecting the ripples of moonlight on the stream. Nearby, a group of crickets fine-tuned their string instruments, their chirping blending into a sweet, melodic hum. Each encounter left Lila feeling both inspired and overwhelmed. Every performer seemed so confident, so sure of their place in the festival. She couldn't shake the fear that her contribution would fall short. As they passed the towering willow tree at the meadow's edge, they heard the faint sound of a harp. Intrigued, Lila and Pip followed the melody, which grew richer and more intricate as they drew closer. Beneath the tree sat Elder Elowen, a wise old owl known for her musical wisdom and gentle demeanor. "Welcome, little ones," Elowen hooted as they approached. "What brings you to my corner of the meadow?" Lila hesitated, but Pip spoke up. "Lila's preparing for her moonlight moment. She's going to sing tonight." Elowen's golden eyes sparkled with interest. "Ah, a brave endeavour. Music has the power to unite us all, but it also requires courage to share one's heart." "Tell me, Lila, what song will you sing?" Lila shuffled her feet, her feathers ruffling with uncertainty. "I'm not sure yet," Elowen nodded thoughtfully. "Come, sit with me," she said, patting the grass beside her. Lila and Pip settled down, and Elowen plucked a gentle tune on her harp. "Music is not just about notes and rhythm," she said. "It's about telling a story. What story do you wish to share?" Lila pondered the question. She thought of the countless nights she'd spent listening to the forest's natural symphony. The rustling leaves, the whispering wind, the calls of distant owls. She thought of the joy she felt when singing alone and the fear that held her back from sharing it. "I want to share the way the forest feels at night," she said softly. "The peace, the beauty, the magic." Elowen smiled, her feathers shimmering in the moonlight. A noble choice. Let me teach you something special. For the next hour, Elowen guided Lila through a hauntingly beautiful melody. It was simple but enchanting, a song that echoed the gentle rhythm of the forest. This tune is older than the meadow itself, Elowen explained. It carries the spirit of the moonlight and the harmony of the trees. It's the perfect song for your moment. By the time they left the willow tree, Lila felt a spark of confidence she hadn't known before. She still had doubts, but the melody lingered in her heart, giving her strength. The final stop on their journey was the stage itself. As the performers gathered for a last rehearsal, Mr. Otis flapped his wings and called for attention. Remember, friends, this festival is not a competition. It's a celebration of our unique gifts. Let your hearts guide your music, and the meadow will feel your joy. Lila watched as each group took turns practicing on the stage. The raccoons drummed their hearts out, their rhythm infectious. The otters danced with grace, their movements mesmerizing. The robins sang their duet, their voices blending like sunlight and shadow. When it was finally Lila's turn, she stepped onto the stage, her legs trembling. Pip stood at the edge, giving her an encouraging thumbs up. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to hum the melody Elowen had taught her. The sound filled the meadow, soft and pure like the first light of dawn. The other animals fell silent, their attention drawn to the tiny nightingale standing alone on the vast stage. As the melody unfolded, Lila's confidence grew. She opened her eyes and saw the wonder in the faces of her friends. It was enough to carry her through the song. When she finished, the meadow erupted into applause. Pip was jumping up and down, and Elowen nodded approvingly from her spot beneath the willow. For the first time, Lila felt the weight of her fears lift, replaced by a sense of belonging and pride. The Moonlight Music Festival had begun. The meadow, now a radiant expanse of light and sound, shimmered under the glowing full moon. Fireflies danced in the air like tiny lanterns, casting their golden glow over the crowd of animals that had gathered. The stage, adorned with flowers and twinkling vines, looked magical, as if plucked from a storybook. Lila stood behind the stage curtain, her feathers quivering with nervous anticipation. The lineup of performers before her was dazzling, each act earning cheers and applause from the audience. She watched as the raccoons performed their synchronized drumming, their paws a blur as they created a rhythm that made everyone stomp and clap. Then came the otters, gliding across the stage in a mesmerizing water dance, their fur shimmering under the moonlight. Lila felt a pang of doubt. Could her voice measure up to such talent? Lila! Pip appeared at her side, his eyes wide with excitement. You're almost about... Are you ready? I don't know, Lila admitted, her voice barely a whisper. What if I mess up? What if they don't like me? Pip placed a comforting paw on her wing. Lila, remember what Elder Elowen said. Your song is a story, and it's your story to tell. No one else can do it but you. Before Lila could respond, Mr. Otis called out, Next up, we have a very special performance. Please welcome Lila, our talented nightingale. The audience erupted in cheers as Lila's name echoed across the meadow. Her heart raced as she stepped onto the stage, the cool grass brushing against her feet. The spotlight shone down, illuminating her small frame against the vast backdrop of the forest. She could see her friends, Pip, the robins, and even Elder Elowen, cheering her on from the crowd. Taking a deep breath, Lila closed her eyes and began to sing. The melody she had practiced with Elder Elawan flowed through her, soft and pure like the rustling leaves and the gentle babbling of the brook. Her voice, though quiet at first, grew stronger with each note. It carried through the meadow, weaving a tapestry of sound that seemed to echo the very essence of the enchanted forest. As she sang, something extraordinary happened. The fireflies that had been hovering around the meadow began to gather, forming a glowing spiral above the stage. The light danced in time with Lila's song, creating an ethereal display that left the audience in awe. The stars above seemed to shimmer brighter, their light mingling with the fireflies' glow. The animals in the audience were spellbound. The robins, who had been so confident in their own performance, watched in wide-eyed wonder. The raccoons, still catching their breath from their drumming routine, swayed to the rhythm of Lila's voice. Even the usually gruff Mr. Otis was leaning forward, his beak slightly open in amazement. But it wasn't just the audience that was captivated. Lila herself felt transformed. Singing on the stage, with the forest as her audience and the moonlight as her spotlight, she felt a connection she had never experienced before. The fear that had gripped her earlier melted away, replaced by a profound sense of belonging. She wasn't just a shy nightingale anymore. She was a storyteller, a creator, a voice that brought the community together. As the song reached its crescendo, the fireflies descended, swirling around the stage in a golden whirlwind. The light bathed Lila in a radiant glow. And, for a moment, she felt as if she had become part of the moonlit magic herself. The final notes of her song lingered in the air, a soft echo that seemed to blend with the rustle of the leaves and the distant calls of the forest. When she finished, there was a heartbeat of silence. Then, the meadow erupted into thunderous applause. Animals stomped, clapped, chirped, and howled, their voices rising in a joyful cacophony. Lila opened her eyes, her chest heaving, and saw the faces of her friends and neighbors lit with admiration and gratitude. "You did it, Lila!" Pip shouted from the front row, jumping up and down. The robins cheered, and Elder Elawan nodded with a proud smile. As Lila stepped off the stage, her heart brimming with joy and relief, she was met by a swarm of animals eager to congratulate her. "That was incredible!" a porcupine exclaimed. "You have a gift, Lila!" "You made the stars dance!" added one of the foxes, her eyes sparkling. Elder Elawan approached, her wise gaze soft and warm. "Lila, your song reminded us all of the beauty and harmony of the forest. It's a gift not just of music, but of connection. Thank you for sharing it." Lila's cheeks flushed with pride. She looked around at the sea of smiling faces and felt something she hadn't expected. Confidence. For so long she had doubted herself, but now she saw that her voice had the power to bring joy and unity to her community. Just as she was about to rejoin the crowd, Mr. Otis flapped onto the stage, his wings spread wide. "Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've just witnessed something truly magical tonight, but the festival isn't over yet." He gestured for Lila to join him on stage. "Lila, would you lead us in the grand finale?" The audience roared their approval, and though her nerves flared once more, Lila found herself nodding. "I'd be honored." With Elder Elawan on her harp, the robins lending their harmonies, the raccoons on percussion, and even Pip on his makeshift tambourine, Lila led the entire meadow in a rousing rendition of the festival's traditional closing song. The music swelled, filling the air with joy and celebration. Animals danced, laughed, and sang along, their voices blending into a symphony of harmony. As the final note faded, the meadow was filled with a sense of peace and fulfillment. The fireflies lingered, their golden light casting a soft glow over the gathering. Lila stood at the center of it all, her heart full, her spirit soaring. She had found her voice, and in doing so, she had reminded the entire forest of the power of creativity, confidence, and community. That night, as the animals began to disperse and the festival drew to a close, Lila found herself surrounded by friends old and new. The raccoons invited her to join their drumming circle. The robins asked for her help in composing a new duet, and Elder Elowen offered to mentor her in the ancient songs of the forest. When Lila finally returned to her nest, the moonlight streaming through the branches above, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The journey had been challenging, but it had led her to discover something invaluable: her place within the forest community and the strength that came from sharing her gifts. As she drifted off to sleep, the melody of her song lingered in her mind, a gentle reminder of the magic that had unfolded under the moonlight. The stars outside her window seemed to twinkle in agreement, as if the universe itself was celebrating her newfound confidence and the harmony of the Moonlight Music Festival. The Moonlight Music Festival had come to an end, but the magic of the night lingered in the enchanted meadow. The animals, now content and fulfilled, began their slow journey back to their homes. The glowing fireflies, having danced their hearts out during the festival, hovered softly in the air, creating a serene golden path for everyone to follow. The air was filled with a gentle hum, the residual echo of songs sung, instruments played, and laughter shared. Lila stood near the stage, watching as her friends and neighbours said their goodbyes, their faces radiant with joy. Pip scampered over, his paws full of leftover berries from the feast. "Lila, wasn't that the best festival ever?" he asked, his eyes sparkling. "It really was," Lila replied, her voice carrying a new strength and confidence. "I can't believe how amazing it felt to sing in front of everyone." "You were incredible," Pip said, munching on a berry. "Did you see how everyone listened to you? It was like the whole meadow was under a spell." Lila chuckled, her cheeks warming with a blush. "I saw, and I felt it too. I never thought my voice could do that." As the crowd thinned, Elder Elowen approached, her harp slung gently across her back. Her wise eyes twinkled in the moonlight. "Lila," she began, her voice calm and nurturing, "tonight you didn't just sing a song. You wove a story, one that brought this community closer together. That is a rare gift." Lila dipped her head, humbled by the owl's words. "Thank you, Elder Elowen. I couldn't have done it without your guidance." The elder owl smiled. "Guidance can show the way, but it is the traveller who must take the steps. And you, my dear, took those steps with courage and grace." Pip nodded enthusiastically. "Lila, you're the bravest nightingale I know. Remember how nervous you were before? And now look at you. Everyone's talking about your song." As they walked together through the meadow, Lila reflected on the journey that had brought her to this moment. The memory of her earlier doubts and fears felt distant, almost like they belonged to someone else. She recalled the small steps, working with Elder Elowen, listening to the advice of her friends, and finding the courage to sing in front of an audience. "I was so afraid," Lila said softly. "I thought my voice wasn't good enough, that I wasn't good enough." Elder Elowen stopped and turned to her, her feathers catching the light of the moon. "We all carry fears, Lila, But the bravest among us are those who face them. You didn't just overcome your fear, you transformed it into something beautiful. That is the power of creativity and courage. Lila smiled, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. I think I understand now. My voice isn't just mine. It's a part of this forest, a part of this community. As they reached the edge of the meadow, Lila's thoughts turned to the festival's broader impact. She had seen the raccoons drumming with wild enthusiasm, the otters moving gracefully in their water dance, and even Mr. Otis breaking into a rare smile. The festival had been more than a celebration. It had been a moment of connection and shared joy, a reminder of the unique talents each animal brought to their community. Pip, as if reading her mind, said, "You know what I loved most about tonight? Everyone had their moment to shine. It wasn't just about being the best, it was about sharing what makes us special." Lila nodded. That's what made it so magical. Everyone came together and it felt like we were all part of something bigger. The moon hung low in the sky as the trio arrived at Lila's nest, nestled in a cozy alcove of the enchanted meadow. The fireflies hovered briefly around her before drifting away, their light dimming as they returned to their own resting places. "I guess this is good night," Pip said, his usual energy fading into a sleepy yawn. "Good night, Pip," Lila replied, giving her friend a gentle hug. "Thank you for believing in me." "Always," Pip said with a grin before scampering off toward his burrow. Elder Alawan lingered a moment longer. "Lila," she said, her tone soft and reflective. "Tonight you reminded us all of the harmony that lies within this forest. Your song brought us together, and that is something to cherish." "I'll never forget it," Lila said, her voice firm with conviction. "And I'll keep singing, not just for me, but for everyone." The elder owl gave a small bow. "Then my work here is done. Sleep well, little nightingale." As Lila settled into her nest, the events of the evening replayed in her mind like a dream. The cheers of the crowd, the shimmering fireflies, and the harmony of the final song all felt like treasures she could keep forever. The night had not only been a turning point for her, but also a reminder of the magic that could be found in community and self-expression. She gazed up at the moon through the branches above, its light bathing her in a soft glow. "Thank you," she whispered, not to anyone in particular but to the universe, to the stars, and to the melody that had carried her through the night. As she closed her eyes, the sounds of the meadow filled her ears, the rustle of leaves, the gentle hum of crickets, and the occasional hoot of a distant owl. These sounds, once background noise, now felt like the rhythm of a song she was part of. And as she drifted into sleep, she dreamed not of fears or doubts, but of melodies yet to be sung, of festivals yet to be celebrated, and of a forest united in harmony. In her dream, the meadow glowed once more under the moonlight, and all the animals danced together, their voices blending into a symphony of joy. Lila stood at the center, her wings spread wide as she sang, her voice carrying the promise of a future filled with music, connection, and boundless creativity. As the gentle night wrapped its arms around the enchanted meadow, a soft breeze stirred through the trees, carrying with it the whispers of the evening songs. The moonlight bathed the landscape in silver, and the meadow seemed to hum with the afterglow of the festival's magic. Now, it was time to let the animals, and you, dear listener, drift peacefully into a restful sleep. Take a moment to get comfortable, whether you're snuggled in a warm bed or cozy under a soft blanket. Let's begin this journey into relaxation and calm. Close your eyes, and take a deep breath in through your nose. Feel your chest gently rise as you fill your lungs with cool, calming air. Hold it for a moment, and now exhale slowly through your mouth. Let the breath carry away any tension or worries you might still be holding on to. Breathe in again, deep, steady and peaceful. Hold it softly and exhale, feeling your body grow a little heavier, a little more relaxed. Imagine each breath as a wave, gently washing over you, smoothing away the edges of the day and leaving you soft and calm. With each breath, feel your muscles loosening, your body sinking deeper into its cozy place. Your arms are heavy, your legs are relaxed, and your whole body feels warm and safe. Picture yourself back in the enchanted meadow. The moonlight spills across the soft grass, making it shimmer like silver. The trees sway gently in the breeze, their leaves rustling in a soothing lullaby. Around you, tiny fireflies glow softly, their golden light dancing like stars brought to earth. The meadow feels alive, but not busy. It's a peaceful kind of life, a rhythm that hums in harmony with your breathing. As you stand in this magical place, feel the soft earth beneath your feet and the cool air brushing your cheeks. You are safe here. You are welcome here. Take a moment to imagine the roots of the great oak tree nearby. These roots are strong and steady, holding the tree firm and safe no matter what winds blow. Now, imagine that you have roots just like the tree. Roots that extend from your feet into the ground, anchoring you in safety and stability. Feel how those roots connect you to the earth, to the meadow, and to the gentle energy all around. You are grounded, steady, and completely at ease. Let's take a moment to fill our minds with positivity and peace. I will say some affirmations, and you can imagine them as glowing lights entering your heart and spreading warmth through your entire being. I am safe. I am loved. I am calm and at peace. I am surrounded by the gentle glow of kindness. My body is relaxed and my mind is light. I am part of the harmony of this world. I am creative, capable, and full of wonder. Feel how each affirmation settles into you like tiny stars resting gently within your heart. They light you up from the inside, reminding you of the magic you carry within. Now, let's look up to the sky. In your mind's eye, you see the stars above the meadow, twinkling and winking down at you. Each star has a gentle hum, a soft note, and together they form a melody that fills the night. Imagine that melody wrapping around you, a warm and comforting blanket of sound. The notes drift into your ears, soothing your thoughts, calming your heart. You don't need to do anything but listen and let the music carry you. As you listen, you feel lighter. The worries of the day begin to float away, rising like little bubbles into the starry sky. One by one, those bubbles disappear, leaving you feeling clear and peaceful. Now, imagine a moonbeam shining down just for you. It's soft and silvery, and it gently invites you to step onto it. As you do, you feel yourself being lifted, as light as air, carried upward into the sky. The moonbeam is a bridge, taking you to a place of pure relaxation and dreams. Feel the cool glow of the moonbeam on your skin, the way it cradles you as it carries you higher and higher. Below you, the meadow grows smaller, and above you, the stars grow brighter. You are floating, weightless, and free. The moonbeam brings you to a beautiful castle in the sky, built from clouds and light. Its towers sparkle and its doors are open wide, welcoming you in. Inside, the castle is filled with soft, fluffy cushions and warm, golden light. This is your special place, a sanctuary where you can rest and dream. Find a cozy spot in the castle, perhaps by a window where you can watch the stars. As you settle in, you feel completely at ease. The air is filled with a gentle melody, and the walls seem to hum with a soothing rhythm. You know that here you are safe. Here you are at peace. As you close your eyes in the dream castle, the sounds of the meadow and the music of the stars fade into a gentle silence. Your breathing is slow and steady, like the rhythm of the ocean. You feel as though you are floating on a soft, endless sea of clouds. Each breath takes you deeper into relaxation. You feel lighter, softer, and more peaceful with every moment. Your body is still, your mind is calm, and you are ready to drift into the world of dreams. As you sleep, you dream of the Moonlight Music Festival. In your dream, the animals are still gathered, their faces glowing with joy and their voices blending in perfect harmony. You see Lila, the shy nightingale, singing her heart out, her voice carrying the warmth of the moonlight. You join in the festival, dancing among the fireflies, feeling the music fill you with happiness and light. The meadow is alive with magic, and you are a part of it all, a thread in the tapestry of the night. Slowly the dream fades, and you find yourself back in your cozy bed. The warmth of the dream lingers like a soft glow in your heart. You feel peaceful, content, and ready for deep, restorative sleep. Before we end, let's say a few final affirmations to carry with you into the night. I am safe and loved. My body is relaxed and my mind is calm. I am ready to rest and recharge. I am part of the harmony of this world. Tomorrow is full of possibilities.